Hatim,
Yep.
I got a question for you, man.
Shoot.
When did you graduate from high school? Wait. Let me try and guess by looking at your beard.
That's a very difficult question. I think 95? 95, yes.
95.
95. Yeah. Long time, man.
Long time. Mashallah. Since then, now we are 2021. Did you notice
Yes.
any changes?
I have no idea, man. It's been a long time.
You just didn't pay attention to it at all after
I'm,
that.
but I'm sure I'm gonna find out soon because another 1 or 2 years my daughter's gonna graduate, so I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
find out. Unless you have a better idea.
I don't have a better idea, but we have somebody that we can get information from. Would you like to know?
Alas. Yes, I would love to know.
Alas. All
Let's
right,
go.
then stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Chat Away in Ummati Station. How is everybody doing? How are you, Brother Hatim?
I'm fine. What about you? It's nice to see
Um,
you after a long time.
Nice to see you too, man. How is all our viewers? How are you doing? How have your week been going so far?
You know, Ali, I just realized that we just completed 40 episodes. Time flies, man.
Time
Remember the
flies.
first time we started this show?
That was in May, I think, the end of May. MashaAllah.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I think we're moving forward and we have a diversity of shows, different topics. And today we have a very special topic and a very special guest. So kindly, can you introduce our guest for today?
I'll just give you a very small introduction about him. Let me go to my other camera here. HAJID Al-KINDI, a 17-year-old who just graduated from high school. He is interested in computers and making videos. That's very interesting,
MashaAllah.
man. That's very interesting. Let us
Salam
welcome
alaikum, Majid.
HAJID Al-KINDI. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Mr. Ali, Mr. Hatem. How are you guys doing?
Good, Alhamdulillah. It's nice to have
Very
you on the
good.
show, Hajid.
Thank you so
And
much. I'm very honored to be on your show today.
Oh, the
Very,
honor,
very
the
congratulations,
honor
honored.
is
Hajid.
always ours.
Congratulations, Hajid, on graduating from high school. And I think it's
Thank
a
you so
big step.
much.
It used to be a big deal in our days, graduating from high school. It's a matter of life and death. I'm sure it's the
Yeah.
same to you.
Definitely has been. It has definitely has been.
So
You
did,
know,
did they
Hajid,
did they scare you like they used to scare us right before the
Yes,
beginning of the year?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. They were scaring us from like grade 9, you could say. Because I've been not even grade 9, even from grade 5. I was thinking about how I'm gonna pass grade 12.
Grade 5, man. You have a special problem then.
I'll tell you that.
Oh man.
you know, Hajid, let me tell you a small story before we start.
Inshallah.
Uh, a few weeks back, I was in the car with my daughter, and I was holding two pieces of paper. The first one was my high school certificate, which I scored very bad. I was a very bad student. I scored 76. And then on my other hand, I had my college, my recent degree, bachelor degree in media, which I got only in April this year. And I was the top in my class and in the college. And I told my daughter, listen, when I was in school, everybody told me that high school is the big deal. If
Mm,
you don't make it, you're a loser. You know,
yeah.
khalas, it's the end of the world. It's a matter of life and death. But after all these years, I realized, you know what? High school is just the beginning. The
Mm.
real life starts after high school.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, how do you feel now after graduating from high school?
Well, after I finished my last exam, I was definitely in shock I did not believe that I finished. I fell into this deep hole of thinking of what do I have to study now? Am I missing out on something? So it took me time to adapt that I actually did finish grade 12. And I no longer have to worry about my teachers, worry about my school, my homeworks for a while, I guess. But definitely, it is the beginning. It's definitely not the end of someone's career. It's just the beginning, a small push to start a new chapter and a new life.
Ali, do you remember when we were in school, graduating from high school, the last day of exam, we had a
Yeah.
very stupid ceremony, which is ripping off the books. I don't know, do you guys have it now? Do you rip your books in pieces and throw
Well,
them in the garbage?
Well, some students do that. I remember when I was in grade 9. Even in grade 9, I remember there was this one kid in our school who just used to take calculators after the exam. He would just crush the calculator in front of our eyes. But I never did that. I still have my books. I always believe that keeping your books for someone else is better than throwing them or burning them. I just don't get burning them for what, or even ripping them for what.
يا أخي حاتم,
It's just stupidness, man.
the mentality has changed, huh? Since then.
Yeah,
I mean,
students are more polite now.
yeah, what's happening, man? What's going on?
I don't think that's the case. Not everyone is as polite or thinks the same, you know. But I'm one of those people who like to think like that because ever since I finished and I got my results and everything, I just packed the books that I can give away and I gave them away to different bunch of people. I gave some to my friends, some to my neighbors, people who actually need the books because one thing people don't realize is you never know if you complain about something that you don't have or something that you have. Other people don't have that. They don't live in the ni'mah that Allah blessed you with. So you have
Yes,
to bless
mashallah.
others with what you have.
So, Hajid, take us through your journey since grade 9. When was the pressure, began? When did
Oh.
the pressure begin about graduating in high school and what are you going to do after high school? And especially the pressure from parents. So, take us through your journey. What happened in your case?
Oh, it's been a very long journey, I'll tell you that. Just in the matter of 3 years, a lot of things changed. I was definitely not a very good student. I didn't study much. I just used to study from time to time, but I was definitely not a great student in studying. And I had very bad friends, very bad motivation of people around me, except my parents, of course, who always tried to believe in me and also actually believed in me. I was actually an average D student in grade 9 and 10, which was the worst years of my life that I had to go through in terms of studying. Because get this, I used to study, but I didn't get the results I wanted. I used to
Mm.
get like a D, a C, which actually broke me down for a while. And I used to always wonder why didn't I get good grades by then. But everything changed when I came to grade 11. I actually started studying while believing in myself. And it's when things actually did start taking a turn and definitely did push my average from a D to almost a B and a B plus. And that's still, I'm not satisfied with that. I'm actually planning to even go further beyond in my college years. I'm definitely not satisfied with that. And I think even my overall this year will always be a lesson to always go further beyond than what you can actually do. And, you know, I've always heard of students who say that they study all the time, but never get the results they want. I always hear those students and I always hear those stories. And I think that the reason that they don't get those results that they want is because they actually don't believe in themselves. They just burn themselves out from the first week or so, from first week or two from school.
But why you think they have that in their mind? Why they have this self doubt?
Self doubt comes from different aspects in life. One of them is, let's say, others' opinions of you. Let's say parents' opinions, and always thinking, what would my parents think of this? What would my sister? What would my brother? What would my whole family think if I did this? And definitely, you have to be self-motivated, because if you don't motivate yourself, you're always going to self-doubt yourself and always not going to believe in yourself. And it also comes from past experiences. Let's say I've failed in the past in doing something, and most people just give up or live their whole lives thinking that they will never be able to do that certain thing.
So I understand from your story now, you're a type of student that doesn't study unless it's you're close to the testing days. That the time when
Yeah.
you start studying?
That was the case in grade 9 and 10, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely not in grade 11, because in grade 11, I started studying the first day of school, which usually never happens. But
Mm.
God bless my parents and God bless Allah, because those two factors helped me a lot through my 11th and 12th grade. You see, I never believed in having certain hours to study. People always say study 4 hours, 6 hours. I never believed in that. I always just studied throughout the whole day, but like being flexible. Like I would start studying now. I would definitely start with mathematics, with a few problems, solve them. I would start with that, but I will be studying throughout the whole day. I would take breaks, eat, I talk to people, and then continue studying. I would study the whole day. I don't like put a timer and time myself. And also, one of the key points in studying is realizing the type of learner you are, because there's different ways for you to learn, for a person to learn, and it differs from one person to another. There's a visual learner, a learner, a reading learner. I'm a visual learner, and as soon as I realized that, what I did was I took a bunch of posters. I started writing math problems. I started writing poems, and I put them all on my wall. I still even have some of them that I'm looking at there. Then, and
MashaAllah.
I'll always just come around my room and just look at them or just stare at them, and it helped me a lot. I'll tell you that.
Hajid, let me ask you something. You know, as a student, you find yourself in a place where there are certain subjects that you love and they're dear to your heart, and there are certain
Yes,
subjects that you really hate, but they're part of the
yes,
package and you have to study
yes,
them. As a
yes,
student,
definitely.
how do you overcome this? How do you overcome this?
Okay. Let me tell you about those two subjects that you talked about, especially the subjects that you have a problem in or hate. For
Yeah.
me, it's been Arabic. Surprisingly, it's
Mm.
been Arabic, because I always found that this subject is very, very deep with how to solve their questions, their problems, and how to read. I just had a problem in focusing that subject, and even in grade 11, I got about 55 in that subject, and that's because
So
I always found it hard.
almost passed.
Yes, yes, but that was only in grade 11, not in grade 12, because
Oh.
throughout the summer before grade 12, I had to write down the problems that I see in myself with studying, and Arabic was the first of them. And
Mm.
there's actually a common myth that tells you that grade 12 is the hardest grade, but grade 12 has never been the hardest grade. It's just like grade 10. Even grade 11 is harder than 12, for that fact. So
Yeah, I heard a lot of students saying that grade 11 is much
mhm.
harder than grade 12. But
Yes,
grade 12 is the time where you are pressured by
yes, it's
everybody to
yes. The
score
pressure,
high
yes,
because
the
of
pressure
your
is
future.
the pressure is what gets to people. That's what makes people very anxious and very scared from the tests, from everything. I was even scared for a while, but through consistency and sorry for that word, through just working hard about
Consistency.
yeah. Sometimes my pronunciation just goes up and down, but
Adi,
that's
Adi,
just
Trust,
how
don't,
I am.
trust
don't,
me,
don't worry.
trust me. When we graduated from higher school, we didn't speak English. So you're good.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
though though I actually need more practice in this language. It's one of those languages where one of those subjects where I find myself good in, but I don't really practice that much. But I will definitely have to practice the subject. Anyways, as I said, it was through practice and through hard work. And I was able to overcome them. Even after a while, I was thinking, this is the easiest subject I have seen, easier than everything else. uh, this subject wasn't that hard as people said it was. So, realizing the problems that you have with that subject and practicing that subject and keep working hard in that subject, you know. And I always believe that in order to fully understand something, let's say that I went to school today and I learned to count to, let's say, five. All right, they taught me how to count from one, two, three, four, five. I go back home, I revise how to count till five, and I also see what's further after five. There are six, seven, eight, nine, and 10. See, that digging deep into something and searching
Mm.
about it, what actually makes you understand that certain fact even more. And that was my
Hajid,
case there.
yeah,
Hmm.
Hajid, some students now, they say that a lot of these subjects that they study in school are irrelevant and they're not
Yeah,
going to benefit in
yeah,
studying them. Do you agree
yes.
with this statement?
Well, I've heard a lot of those opinions, and I did think a lot of those opinions before. But coming back and thinking of it, grade 12 is like a foundation. All right, this is the foundation where you actually have something that you can build on. Let's say in Arabic, all right, I'm going to learn Arabic. I'm going just to learn even, by the way, in grade 12, the Arabic is just mostly the basics, like أسلوب الاستفهام and different just basics, you know. Those are just the foundation. It's not even that hard. But I think that every single subject was actually relevant in grade 12, including social studies, which made us realize, you know, in social studies, a lot of people say that it's not relevant, but it is because every 1 year or two they update the book and it comes with new facts that go by with a certain timeline, you know. Even at the end of the book, we studied like a chapter about the current economical stage and such stuff, you know. But every subject in grade 12 is definitely relevant.
Did you have a favorite subject?
Oh yes, I did have a favorite subject. If I tell you my favorite subject, you're going to laugh at me.
What is it?
Even it's more favorable to me more than information technology. It's definitely math.
Math?
Math.
Yes,
MashaAllah.
That's
yes.
amazing. That's
I
amazing.
actually I was a student that always loves math because my dad being an engineer, we would always go through math problems, and I found myself having an interest there. You know, I found myself since I was young. I loved this subject, and there was even a certain time where, let's say in grade 5, I had that same passion, and I kept doing, and even I got a great overall in math in that certain year. But then
MashaAllah.
after a while, with just bad surroundings of friends and everything, I lost that interest. I didn't get good marks, but when that interest came back, I definitely did rise my overall again. You know, it's more about having that interest and the motivation with it.
Ali, what was your favorite subject in school and why?
I would say English. Uh,
English.
yeah, and the reason was I didn't have to study it at all. That was the only subject that I didn't have to pick up a book and try to study even for the exam. Is
The
that the
easy
same for
way
you?
out.
Is that
It's
the
just
same for
common
you?
No,
sense.
no, for me, actually, the favorite subject was biology because I
Mm.
wanted to be a vet or a marine scientist. So biology was very important
Wait,
to
wait,
me.
hold on. you
Yes.
liked biology because
Yes.
there was a purpose for that at that
That's right.
age. At that
That's
age.
right. Yes.
Man, mashallah. I didn't have any purpose. For me, the study was not a purpose, and that went for a long time. So having a purpose for that, I think, mashallah, I
To
salute
me,
you.
to me, to me, honestly, I had a clear vision of what I want to do after
Mm-hmm.
school. But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
None of my visions worked out. Something else was meant for me that Allah kept for me, which I
Mm-hmm.
feel is far more better than what I planned. And
Mashallah.
that's why the reason why I'm saying this is that students, when they graduate from high school, it's a time to experiment yourself, experiment choices, experiment new things, because it's going to take you a while to settle in the place that you fit in. Because it took me a while to settle, and it takes everybody. Sometimes you feel like, okay, I want to be an engineer. So you go for university for 5 years, and then you start working as an engineer. And while you're working as an engineer, you realize, you know what? I'm not really enjoying being an engineer. I'm more, good with numbers. I want to be an accountant. I want to work in the finance department. I want to work in an investment. So then you start changing, you start experimenting. So don't confine yourself with the thought that you have in high school that if I don't get this, then khalas, it's
Mm.
the end of the world. Because I know a
Yeah.
lot of people, they didn't score very high. Let's
Yeah.
say they wanted to be engineers. They didn't score high enough to get into engineering school. They went, for example, to business school. And then later on, they discovered, you know what? I love business school. I don't want to be an engineer anymore.
Mm.
So experimenting is good. But at the same time, saving time by knowing exactly what you want is also highly recommended. So you have to have a balance between the two.
So
Definitely.
maybe I'll go and ask Hatim again this question now. Where did you get that motive from for you to have purpose to study?
Well, as you know, Ali, since a very young age, I had a lot of pets at home.
Uh-huh.
And I spent a lot of time with animals. And I used to treat, when my animals are sick, I used to treat them in basic ways. So I had a vision that I want to be a doctor. I want to be a vet, a specialized doctor for animals. And I kept the second option uh, to be a marine scientist. I love sharks and dolphins and whales and,
Mashallah.
the sea life in general.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I loved biology automatically. I loved studying about, but these mammals and birds and all these things. But and then it didn't work out. After graduating from high school, I didn't score enough to get into there. And I would say that the environment at school, I don't know now what's the case in Hajid's time, but in our time, public schools was a zoo, man. You couldn't focus, you couldn't study. There was too much nonsense going in school that you
Yeah.
couldn't focus as a student.
That is very true.
So
That
I
is
think
very
that
true.
that
Definitely.
played a big role for us not focusing on our studies.
Yeah. In almost every school, it's almost the same thing, but depends more of where you choose to place yourself,
Yeah.
because in my case, there were even a certain group that didn't like to study much, and there was a certain group that liked to study. And there's also an old saying that says, "Show me your friends, and I'll tell you your future." And from that saying, you could know that hanging around bad friends and bad influences you to be just as bad. You know, it's like one of those stories that says that wolves move together, or bird packs always fly in a group, and it's exactly the same thing with this case. And it's just a matter of placing yourself in the right direction,
Ali,
because
do you,
trust me, I've
Ali,
dodged so much bullets of bad people and throughout my life thing. And there was even a certain time where I actually did fall into their nonsense
Mm.
hole. But I did pick myself up from that place. Even I'll tell you something. In grade 10, I was in a certain group because we had this big thing where there was this IGC program, and
Yes.
we were forced to take it in our school until like the last semester from grade 10,
Um,
where you're supposed to
just for
do the
the
exam.
viewers, what does IGC stand for? What is that?
IGC exams are international exams. I don't know the full extent of like the name, but
Okay.
they're international exams that if you take them, you'll be able to take A levels or AS levels. And A
Mm.
levels and AS levels are the equivalent to the bilingual diploma from our ministry. Well, you can't say equivalent, but it's definitely a stronger diploma. But it's usually the same set of subjects and everything. Anyways, with the IGC thing, all right, we were forced to take it for a year and a half, and the last semester where we were supposed to like take the exam, they gave us an option to drop out and just continue being in the bilingual aspect, like just like our fellow students that study other in grade 11 and 12. Anyways, I did drop out from IGC, which was one of the decisions that I definitely regretted, and I still regret till this day.
Why did
But
you drop?
well, I dropped because I didn't believe in myself, Mr. Ali. I thought that I will never be able to overcome a hard exam. I dropped out. I was in this three group, which was me and two guys. And guess what? Allah gave me a chance at that year. The same year, those two students that were my best friends, they sadly didn't make it through grade 10, and they're repeating the year. But Allah gave me a chance in that year, and I literally just
Yes.
passed on 50. And as soon as that happened, I said to myself, I have to change. I can't keep living this way. I
Mm.
can't keep going this way. How long will I disappoint with my parents? And how long, when the results come out, I'll just be hiding? When the results come out, I will be hiding in my room. You know.
Did did you ever signed on your father's behalf?
So, oh, uh,
You don't have to
no, no,
share.
no, 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 that's actually there was actually a story with
I'm
that.
gonna put you in trouble now.
Actually, he did find out about it. Uh, when I was in grade 6, there was an Arabic exam from 15, all right? And I
Uh-huh.
think I got 3 out of 15 in that exam, all right?
Oh.
I, I, I always, I always have this habit that when there's something that needs to be signed and go
Mm.
back to school, I would let my dad sign it as soon as he's dropping me from school, because that way he will just forget about it later. But when he saw that paper, he was like, I'm not signing that.
Mm.
Is that? And I already did sign it, but when I signed it, I had those thoughts that said to me, "Oh, you can't sign it; they'll find out." So I just like I scrambled around it, and he was like, "Huh? Did you try and sign it, this paper?" I said, "No, I didn't." And when I went and showed the teacher, my Arabic teacher was a teacher that specialized in mental health. Yeah, in mental health. So
Mhm.
she knew exactly what was going on. She said, so I see that you tried to sign the paper, but then your inner conscience told you not to." So I just stood like this. I said, "No, I
What
didn't.
was this a teacher or psychic?
I have no idea." It said that was an Arabic teacher, but I mean, you can't trust people those days.
Hajid,
These days,
you studied in a private school in a
yes,
mixed environment, yeah, mixed
yes,
gender environment.
yes.
Do you think that if you studied in a all boys school, would it make a difference in your performance?
Actually, yes, I would say that. Because and when it's all
Better
boys
or worse?
environment, worse definitely. You would be surprised, but let me tell you, when there's an all boys environment, there's no limits. Boys can go as much as they want to. They can let their inner beasts out as much as they want to. But when we're in a class with mixed genders, the boys here, they will just suppress themselves just to not get embarrassed. In
They will
front, yeah,
behave
They will
themselves.
definitely
behave.
will behave themselves.
You remember the zoo I told you we studied in, me and Ali?
Yes.
That that was an all boys school. And
Hatim.
trust me,
Yeah.
it was full-fledged. Everything that you can think of
Yeah.
was there.
So
You
Hatim,
know?
did you
And I'm
wish
not
to,
saying
to, to,
all
to be
all
in a
boy
mixed did you wish to be in a mixed gender school?
honestly honestly speaking, no. I think that school, being so tough and so difficult, made me a better person today because I was able to depend on myself. We had fights
Yeah.
every single day. I don't know, Hajid, have you ever got into a fight? Fist
Oh,
fight?
I've
We had it
gotten
every single day, man.
I've gotten million fights, and I've beat up over 20 kids in my high school thing, because I was the type of person. I was the type of person that if yeah, that effect was so good, perfectly timed. I was the type of person that if somebody said something bad to me or tried to uh, make a dominance physically on me, I would definitely start throwing these punches with
Mm.
no holding back. I
Okay,
think also having a reputation in school plays a big role. I'll tell you that.
so you think it's good to be a tough boy in school rather
Uh,
than being somewhere in the middle? I'm not saying to be down, so
yeah. See,
surrendering to others.
I would say that do not force yourself on other students. Like, do not bully them. Do not ever try to physically harm them. At the same time, like, just be a person that doesn't harm others. But when somebody tries to harm you, show them who you really
So,
are. Because
so
that's the
Hajid,
exact
that
way. Because Mr.
Ha-
Hatim, Mr. Ali, every person that I fought
Hajid,
are
wait,
my
wait,
best
wait.
friends. Uh,
Hajid, wait, wait. So the 20 boys was all self-defense?
Yeah, definitely to a self defense. I know definitely to a self
خلي
defense.
عنك خلي عنك
Wallah
يا أخي.
al-azim, it was a self defense. Even uh, you can even ask my parents. It definitely was a self defense. Because every time that because I never had the idea of beating up somebody who did nothing. I never had that. I don't know
الحمد
how
لله.
I don't know how people have that mentality. I think it's usually from their home environment that makes them act this way. But my home environment was, alhamdulillah, good. So it definitely shows you the person that you act outside shows your current conditions in your house.
I just want to ask our viewers here: how many of you are grade 12 or going to grade 12, or let's say even graduated from grade 12?
Graduated. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody? So I just want to
Okay,
have an idea. Yeah, go ahead.
going back to the mixed gender environment. Hajid, do you think that girls are smarter than boys and that's why they're scoring higher than
Ah.
boys?
Well, this is a very big argument, and I think both genders have their special abilities in something. There is no such thing as girls being smarter than boys. It's each person with their abilities and their hard work. Because I know a lot of students who scored very bad last year and studied very good this year. Got most of them. I would say that they got an average of more than 80. And those students, we looked at them as people that literally don't study at all. So it's not a gender thing, it's a hard work thing, and it's definitely not girls smarter than boys. What you talking about, mister?
They're watching. They're watching you. They're watching you.
Well,
Well, listen. We're not talking about theories here. We're talking about statistics because the majority of girls who graduate from high school, they score higher than the
Yeah.
boys. And
Yeah.
even in universities and college, the high scorers are the girls.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to employment, the ones that are passing the interviews and the exams, the entry exams, are girls more than boys. So what's the problem with this generation?
Well, Mr. Hatim, those statistics that you talked
You're
about,
letting us down, man. You're
no,
letting
no,
us
no, no.
down.
I'm definitely not. Those statistics that you were talking about were the generation before us, because in this certain generation, boys are actually starting to compete to fulfill themselves. And trust me, the girls from your generation and our generation are way different, especially in mentality. Way different. There's a lot of things
In
that
what way?
change. A lot of ways.
Had Hajid, we didn't have TikTok at that time. We didn't
Definitely,
have
and
something to keep us busy.
definitely not Twitter. Because as soon as I enter Twitter, only find girls there. And trust me, it's not a very friendly place there. Very bad place.
Mm.
So
So,
let me squeeze you more now,
mhm,
Hajid. Some students complain that their parents always interfere with their studying. So you
yeah,
find your dad and mom always on top of your head. Are you
hmm,
studying? Are you studying? How many hours
yeah,
did you study? This is
yeah,
your future. If you don't
yeah,
pass, you're going to work in a petrol station. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
your cousins are better than you. They're going to score
yeah,
higher than you.
yeah,
The neighbor kid,
yeah,
they scored 90. So
yeah.
does that cause you to have pressure? And
Yes. All right.
sometimes even it makes you score bad
Yes.
because of that
Yes.
pressure.
Yes. See.
So what do you want to tell the parents? What do you want to tell the parents?
Yes. The
Not
parents
your
and the
parents, I mean in
students.
general.
Yes, I'll tell them that first of all, having a good relationship with your parents is very important. You need to show that your parents that you are working and you need a little bit of space so you can actually work on yourself. And this is exactly what I did with my parents since grade 11. I also made it very clear from the beginning of the year that Mama, Baba, I'll be studying, and just give me some space and I will let your head up, and I will definitely make you proud of me. So when I established that certain relationship, because see, in the beginning of the year, my mom was very worried about me. She was like, "Where are you going out? You need to study." But then after she saw how serious I am and how serious I've shown her that I'm about this year, she just let me be me. And it actually did make a difference. And she even helped me at the like on the last exam days. We studied social studies and Islamic together. We revised those subjects, and I'm very grateful for my parents. To be honest, they're the best parents in the world, and I know that they might be watching this, and I would love to tell them that Mom and Baba, I really appreciate your work with me, and I'll tell you that I really love you from the bottom of my heart, and I'll always keep grinding, and I'll always make you proud of me.
Inshallah, inshallah,
Inshallah, you
inshallah.
will. You will.
Students need to understand that when your parents are hard on you and they are pressuring you to study, it's not that they hate you or they want
Mm.
to make your life miserable.
Yeah,
But they care about you and they want what is good for you because
yeah,
they saw the future, they know what is the market like and how difficult it is to survive, especially with a lot of competition out there. So they want what is good for you. And many times, parents, if they could not achieve their goals during their lifetime, they want their kids to be
yeah,
better than them. So
yeah.
this mutual understanding has to be there, and the child as well, the boy and the girl, they have to prove to their parents that they
Mm.
are trustworthy, so that their
Definitely.
parents can trust them and back up. But if you're just spending your time watching Netflix, PlayStation, going
Yeah.
out with friends,
How do you
and
expect
not
them to trust
scoring,
you then?
of course they will never trust you, man.
Yeah,
They will
and
always be on top of your head.
Definitely. And there, this is a point that many students fail to realize. They always say that, oh, my mom and dad, they're always on top of it. They're telling me to study. But the thing is, they don't show them that they're serious about their studies. Look, it's even my mom commenting there.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
You've been watched, huh? Hajid, you've been
Yeah.
watched.
Yes, I am being watched.
Uh, a message to your parents: you have an amazing son here, mashallah. With whatever information
MashaAllah.
whatever he's telling us, mashallah. You should be proud of him. You should be proud of him.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. I appreciate it.
I think
Hajid,
Hatim. I,
I have so many questions I want to shoot.
I'm gonna pause because I can see from your eye you have a special kind of a question, and then I'll move to my questions.
Okay. Um, Now I forgot what I want to ask. Ali,
Great.
go ahead.
That's
I'm
very
getting
good.
old, man. I'm
That's
getting old.
very
I'm getting
good.
old.
Very good. I think that was my prayers. I want to talk about teachers, and I think you might have heard that now about hiring teachers from outside, Hatim and Hajid
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
viewers. See, I don't care where the teachers are from. Okay.
Yeah.
What I care about is having professional teachers who can educate the
Yeah.
future generation. Let me share with you a story. This is how our teachers used to be like. I think I have to reveal this. I'll give you a scenario of one of the teachers. The teachers enters a classroom. He sits like a king, commands a student, "Hey, come and like a slave, to wipe the blackboard." We used to have a blackboard, I think, or was it green board? And then
Blackboard.
the blackboard, and then the teacher would write a few bullet points. Once you're done with the clear blackboard, he'll put some bullet points, and then he sits back again like a king, and asks a student to read a few paragraphs, and then the next student continues, and so on. And then the teacher gives you homework, and then he leaves. Now,
Yeah.
the same teacher becomes the best teacher the moment you take him for private classes. But you make sure you pay him a good amount of money and you feed him during the session. He will love it.
Yeah.
I'm talking, based on experience.
Yeah.
So this type of teachers we had English teachers who didn't speak English very well. We had some teachers even taught us how to curse and use offensive words. And this message, I think, is for those I want people to hear it out there. We need professional teachers that are highly paid. You can't pay a teacher low salary expecting him or her to teach future generations. It's sad to see a teacher with low salary teaches a student who, when graduates, gets 10 times the salary that his teacher got. We need
Yes.
teachers who know their jobs. So don't just bring for the sake of, we don't have enough money or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Future generation.
Actually, I'll tell you something, Mr. Ali. This is an actual point that I've seen through my lifetime. A lot of Omani teachers here in Oman, they're very tough with the students. I don't know why a lot of teachers just think that, oh, I'm coming here to do the job. I don't need to do this, not do this. A teacher's job is to prepare a student for the future. They have to come in the class, and the first thing that they have to do is connect hearts with those students. Thank God bless my teachers this year. Most of them, there was this very excellent math teacher and ICT teacher who were very motivational to me, and I still talk to them to this day. Until this day, I even talk to them. All of them were very good. By the way, I'm just telling you two examples. Even when I was doing some of the math problems, I had a problem with a certain question. So I was constantly asking the teacher, "Mister, am I doing this correct? Am I doing this correct?" And I have this quote that I'll never forget what he told me about. He said that always trust the process. If you don't trust the process, you'll never be able to reach your goal. You know,
Yeah.
and God bless those teachers. A lot of them in our school, that even though they weren't really paid the best there is, they made sure that they were connecting hearts with us, and which is what actually made us love those subjects, in a lot of government schools. I'm not trying to like say something bad or anything, but I was talking to one of my cousins who did finish grade 12 this year. She was telling me that the teacher gave her 30 from 40 in the assessments. I asked her why did that happen. She said that in each simple mistake in the spelling in the exam, she minused a half a mark from it. And I was like, how can a teacher do that? It's not even the rules regulated by the ministry in
Mm.
correcting. So he said that you should have been very clear from her. Imagine that student got 80 in Islamics, and that's just because she didn't get those 40 marks, and definitely she deserves them, you know but Omani teachers need to listen up a little with their students. They need to connect with those students that they teach. Some of them do, some of them don't, but I think that every teacher should learn to do so. you know
I think, guys, we're not generalizing here that this is the case everywhere and with
yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
But what we're trying to say is some teachers take this role as a job. They just come
yeah,
there, finish their 8 hours, whether you learn or not, it's not their problem, and they leave. And some teachers, they love what they do and they inspire students and they leave a mark in your
Yes.
heart where
Yes.
you still
definitely.
remember them after 20, 30 years. And we being, we graduated from a public school that was terrible, I
Yeah.
would say. But despite that, I had few teachers that I remember them until today, and I pray for them day and night because they were very sincere in what they did, and they were like a father figure. They
Mm.
took care of us, they were very polite, they were loving, and they were caring. And
Yes,
this is something natural for a good teacher.
True.
A good teacher is not someone only who can teach you. A good teacher is someone who cares about your well being. Because sometimes you might come across a bad student who is not doing very well in class. Maybe this bad student is going through a rough time at home. Maybe his parents are divorced. Maybe they have, alcohol abuse at house, in their house, or any domestic violence, and
Mm.
that's why he's not performing in school. So it's the role of the teacher to find out
yes.
the potential of their students and help them, and not the
Also,
other way around.
Mr. Hatem, Mr. Ali, I'll tell you something. I'm a person that always believes that anything that happens in my life regarding me is my own fault and I need to correct it. I had this very hard teacher. The person was a very nice teacher inside, but from the outside, he showed us to be a very strict teacher and a very annoying one. And I took it upon myself this year to actually change this person and show him that I'm very serious with his subject. And even though I had a big failure in doing that, the beginning of the year, I never gave up on that goal. And by the end of the year, I went to his office. I asked him, Mister, how are you? Mister, how much did I get in my assessment? He looked at me, he laughed, and I thought, oh my God, I don't know what that laugh could lead up to. And he said, Alhamdulillah, you got 40, and I was very happy with that. And that was being that I actually did work with the teacher. Even if the teacher is very hard, there will always be a spot
Mm.
which will open up, which will make him open up to the whole class and open up with you. Wait, are you guys
And
looking at
now,
me?
yeah, we're looking at you. Magic, magic.
Yes,
Now, Hajid,
yes,
young people, they are driven with adrenaline. They have energy. They want to
yeah,
go out and have fun. They're gonna want to hang around with their friends.
Yeah.
Um, and this distracts them from their main purpose of studying. And
yeah,
most of the time, students who want to get rid of grade 12, just to graduate,
Mm.
yeah,
to feel freedom. But
Yes,
actually,
it's
freedom
never
doesn't
freedom.
start. There is no
Yes.
freedom
Yeah,
because life in university and college is even
yeah,
triple the amount of work that you did in school. You actually had freedom when you were
yeah.
in school, but after school, real life starts and it becomes very tough. So, how can a young person who is in grade 9, 10, 11, before grade 12, balance between what they want to do, having fun,
And what they
and
have to do.
their studies and what they
Yes,
have to do? You
yes.
being a student and going through it now.
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, Mr. Hatem, I would like to say that every bad habit that I had was because I always went out with a lot of my friends and I never had that balance, you know. I always think that going out and having fun is more important than studying, which was very wrong at that time. But first of all, you have to balance the amount of time you study with, let's say, that on Thursdays I didn't study. I never studied on Thursdays. I made a Thursday, except the Thursdays near the exam dates. But on Thursdays, I always had it as a free day, which I will go out with my friends, but never go way too far. I would maybe go walking. I would go to see a movie, and even those certain hours that I went out, I always had a plan to cover them up. And always when you go out with your friends, you have to have a certain goal. Never go out with your friends if you don't have a certain goal that you want to do, because if you do that, you'll just be wasting your time, you know. And there was even in grade 11, I was very obsessed with going out, but by the end of the year, I thought, why am I wasting my time in going out? I could be doing a million other things with my family and with my brother, you know, because family always comes first. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the reason I'm laughing about this because there's this new meme about family. That's why I'm laughing about this. But family always comes first, and through grade 12, I've learned to actually have a very long time sitting with my family, talking to them, asking them how they are, sitting with my brothers, my sisters, my mom and dad. And I managed to connect with every one of them, and I found that sitting with them is much better than going out with friends.
Yeah, Hajid, you're a very good student, man, and a very good son. We were evil, man. When we were in your age, we were evil, man. Honestly speaking, man, you're an angel. I
None
think
of none of which I think
your parents are lucky to have you, man.
I
Thank
think
you.
none of what you said would click in our time. We will not understand what you just
Yeah,
said. I think, mashallah, you are above, the average, I would say,
Thank you,
average of
Mister.
student thinking.
I appreciate that.
So talking about that, and you spoke about having goals, even when in your break time. Now, what is your future plan?
Yes, my future plan. Uh, I thought of a lot of plans throughout the last 2 years, and I always wanted to become a pilot when I was a kid. All right, and I wanted to be a pilot as soon as I finished high school. But then I realized that I need to finish my bachelor's first and then become a pilot to have a backup plan. But let me tell you something. All right, if I tell you that I want to become a pilot after March or after January 2020, you would laugh at me. You know why? Because you would become a pilot and you never find a job for the next few years or 3 years, and that being because of COVID. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
so
yes.
so I had to reshape my plan. You know, because you see, adapting to changes is very important. There's an old saying by Bruce Lee, which was a very great martial artist, that tells you to always be like water. You see, when I put water to the scan, it becomes this shape. And this is exactly the case with modern problems and how you adapt with modern solutions. You know, you always have to take the shape of that problem or that crisis and shape into something that can adapt and go with it. And this is the exact strategy tactic that the businesses are using. Major people are using this tactic. You always have to adapt with changes. Anyways, I had to postline the dream of becoming a pilot for a couple of years, which will actually benefit me because I would be able to finish my bachelor's, get a job, and get enough money, maybe get married, perhaps, who knows. And yes, that being that's the case.
I have a burning question.
Tell me,
Oh,
tell me.
fire it, man.
I can tell what's that question, and I hope it's not the question that I'm thinking of. But tell me.
No, actually, what if someone doesn't, score high in high school?
All right,
Is it the end of the world?
it's definitely not the end of the world. You see, I have a friend who scored very low, right? And that friend is very, very talented. I'll tell you that many people who score low in grade 12, they can have big talents and major good stuff that they can actually do instead of following the system. Just like you, Mr. Hatim, you said that you didn't have a good overall, but look how he turned out to be. He
Yes.
turned out to be really great, you know? And see,
I,
that's the
I,
case with a lot
I'm
of
not,
the
I'm not
students.
so sure. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so. I'll have to ask my parents.
Well, ask them and tell us, right? But I think you did
Inshallah.
turn out great, and I think that if you got a very low mark in grade 12, search for the opportunities that you can take, and from those opportunities find even higher opportunities, because you really don't know. You can start a business, you can do tons of different stuff. There's always opportunities to be open. And actually, there's a certain thing I want to talk about, if you don't mind. You see,
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
when the results came out, sadly, we could say about more than 90% of the outside programs that study outside were completely deleted from even entering
The
in the whole
scholarships, you mean the
system.
scholarships?
Yeah, see, it's not even the scholarships, it's only the programs for the scholarships. The scholarship seats were reduced by 300, from 700 to 400. So you could say 300
400. Yeah.
difference. 300. All right. All right, now I want to talk about this. All right. As a student, I was very disappointed when this happened. I was very upset, but then I took a little bit of time, and I thought that, you see, a lot of students right now went to Twitter and they were raging about how the government doesn't care about us, and how the government is evil, how the government crushed our dreams,
Mm.
and they don't realize the bigger part of it. In Oman, we're very blessed to have healthcare and even government funding in colleges. You see, in other countries, they don't have that
You have
blessing.
to pay.
You
You
know,
have to pay
they have
by
to pay.
yourself.
And I'll tell you, if they did open this feature, most Omani people won't go to college since it's very expensive, but the government takes
Yes.
care of that. So we are living in a blessing, but people don't realize that blessing until that blessing goes away. That's when they'll start realizing it. And I always believe that definitely we are in a crisis right now. We have corona, we have our economical state, and we have bunch of other stuff. But I always believe that when there's a crisis, opportunities always rise up from that crisis, you know
There,
and I
there
think
are there
that.
are two sayings. There are two sayings. Sorry to cut you off, Hajid. In
Yeah.
Arabic, the first one says, "تجري الرياح بما لا تشتهي السفن." The winds they flow with what the ships don't desire. So the ships, if they want to go north, the winds they are going east. You can't do anything about it, as a
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab said, اخشوشنوا فإن
Mm.
النعمة لا تدوم. Be
Yes.
tough because the blessings will not last forever.
Very
And
true.
Yes.
these are the moments we are living very difficult financial moments where we
Yes.
need to stand with our government and be patient
Hmm.
and
Yes.
accept whatever we have and work with it.
Yes.
until
And
we arrive, to a place where we want to be. You
you
know,
know,
everything is
y-
going to come back. But now, because it's difficult, let us be patient,
yes. Mister, I will tell you something. Me saying all of this, a person from Twitter, if they came and heard this, they would say that this person is crazy. But I think that they should really take this into consideration and think about the opportunities that they have ahead, instead of crying or whining about it on different platforms, and throwing bad dirt on our government, which is definitely something that's not good, and I think that many opportunities will rise up, inshallah. Even if it's not now, it will
inshallah.
definitely come by, because Allah always gives you what you worked for, and always gives you what
Yes.
you deserve. Maybe this is a blessing. By the way, studying abroad is not an easy task. It's definitely not an easy task. It requires a lot of
Ask Ali. Ask
yes,
Ali.
you know
How was studying?
it
We had
takes
to eat one meal in 2 days, man.
you
It's
know
not easy.
I had to
It's
eat
not easy.
cookies, man. I had to eat cookies. That was
it
my
takes
meal.
it takes it
We
has
we
it also have a lot of mental challenges, that comes with it, about
yeah.
staying a long way from home and feeling lonely, and a lot of we've seen a lot of those examples that come around of those, and I definitely think that most of those scholarships, not those scholarships that were deleted, with the certain batch that came out, I think that it's a blessing that they were removed, instead of just sat there, because I think with this generation, I don't think they can make it studying abroad, and it will just be a waste from the government's money.
um,
Ali, do we have time for another
uh, th-
burning question? Last burning
I
question.
well, we're running. We're actually already past the time, but there's a comment from Abdul Malik. Assalamu alaikum wa
Yeah.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from Otoria. I don't know how do you pronounce that. New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Alhamdulillah, the youth can benefit from this also. Alhamdulillah. So that is from there.
Alhamdulillah.
We have also. Okay. Here we go. When you were in high school, what subject was hard? Is that from your
Yeah.
mother? I think.
Once failed the
Yes.
subject.
Have you once failed a subject?
Thank
Dun
God that
dun dun dun
I
dun dun
I
dun dun
know.
dun 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 dun.
uh, I've come a very close moments where I was going to fail in subjects, but through hard work, alhamdulillah, I did not fail in any subjects, which
Alhamdulillah.
was a very good blessing from Allah. Alhamdulillah, because
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
if I did fail in a subject, I would have been dead, and I would have not been here on this cast today.
Are they hearing you in the next room or something?
Uh, well, they can't hear me from here
They'll find
because
out.
my
They
room
they
is
will find
very.
out. They will find
Yeah,
out.
they'll find out. They'll find out, I guess.
And the
Ali,
burning
Ali, if we don't have
question.
more chemistry, yes, the
No,
burning
the
question.
burning question. Give it a chance, man. Go ahead.
Okay, I work with a lot of young people, and I always hear this, Mr. Hatem, why do we have to work hard and study? We want to be social media influencers. We're going to
Yeah.
get a lot of money if we become famous and save time. There's no point of studying, going to university, and then someone who has a TikTok account makes more money than us.
As long as
What do
you
you
can
think of that,
dance. As
Hajid?
long as you can dance well.
That you, as long as you can dance or do this.
Yeah.
Wait. What? Do what?
Do it. Do it. Yes, this.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
that kid is definitely one of the simplest ideas that I ever seen,
And
and
he
very
never
successful
spoke.
ones.
He never spoke a word,
Yes,
and he got millions.
I've seen a video of him speaking before. It feels weird, to be honest. From
He speaks?
how many videos? Huh?
He speaks?
He spoke one time in an
Italian.
interview.
Italian. I think he's Italian.
Yes, Hajid, go ahead. Tell us
Uh, about
this
what?
thing,
Yeah,
about
well,
not studying and
okay, okay,
being
okay,
an
okay.
influencer.
Okay, I see. Yes. Yeah, you see, there's a lot of influencers who leave school and say that, oh, I'm going just to work on influencing people and I can make it. Right? I think that, first of all, it can turn out good, it can turn out to be very bad, but it's usually never lasting. There's a certain time where you would take a very hard downturn, and I have a question. Where will you go from there? Me personally, I'm a YouTuber and I'm trying to find also another career in being a YouTuber, but I will never drop from high school, from college to only be a YouTuber. I will work on both, I will balance both of them. And let's say I will get a lot of money, yes, but I'll also have a passive income which will have an backup, or not, a backup. If this thing fails, I'll always have something
Yeah,
else to use, not fall back on, but something else to have as a backup plan. Because I think that you should never fall back on something. You should always fall forward.
And I think also one thing to
mashallah.
add to the students, don't just limit yourselves to jobs.
Yeah.
Try to also seek for
Yes.
business opportunities. Open up a business. Maybe try to get a
Yeah,
partner.
actually, a lot of this generation are very talented with business ideas, especially in Instagram. A lot of those Instagram users
Mhm.
Yes.
are kids that are my age. I even started my own business for a while. I was selling LED lights.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I
Mashallah.
was selling LED lights.
You mean the one used by the gamers?
Yes, definitely. It was used by
Oh,
different people.
amazing,
Oh,
amazing.
sadly, I am not in my room, really in my room, because we're not in our house for a while. But I would have shown you my LED lights. I had those on top of my ceiling, all around my ceiling.
Well, I would love to have those as well. I'm building a studio, so I'm gonna contact you soon, inshallah, to get some of these lights, inshallah.
Inshallah,
Sounds good,
inshallah.
mister. Sounds good.
So I think we come to the end of the journey, Ali.
Yes.
Yes.
Any last words, Hajid, to the students and parents and teachers out there?
Yes. I would like to say that I would like to say for the students, always keep on working hard and don't give up from one failure, because it took Thomas Edison about 1,001 tries to invent the light bulb, and it can also take you 1,001 attempts to do something. Always, never give up on anything. Always keep pushing and go further beyond and push your limits, because that's the only way of doing it. Nobody else is going to do it for you, not your mom, your dad, your parent, mom, dad first, your mom, your parents, and your friends. None of these people will do that for you. This is my classmate, by the way, a very great classmate.
MashaAllah,
uh,
mashallah.
Inshallah.
nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. You have to work for yourself.
Very true,
I
sir.
actually,
Hajid,
a lot of my classmates, I surprised them this year. So they were very surprised to see how good I did in school and handling a lot of things, which really
Alhamdulillah,
made me
Alhamdulillah.
happy.
Inshallah,
Congratulations.
you will always be happy.
Thank
Just
you.
stay with that momentum and just keep on going, man.
Yes.
You have
Thank
it.
you
You
so
have it in
much.
you. You
It's
have it
it's
in you.
always it's always have been about the momentum.
True. Very true.
Alhamdulillah. Hajid, on behalf of Ummati Station, we would like to say that we're very proud of you and we're very honored to have you on the show. Keep up the good work. And
Thank you so much.
inshallah, one day we're going to see you a pilot and a YouTuber and a businessman. Take
Thank you
care of
so much. I
yourself
appreciate it.
and
Yeah, thank
don't
you so
forget us in
much.
your prayers.
I
And keep on
won't.
inspiring young people.
Inshallah, maybe I would come on the show after a few years. You know,
Bi'idhnillah, you're
who
most
knows?
welcome.
Inshallah.
Anytime,
With a
anytime.
new
Thank you so
success,
much.
inshallah, inshallah,
Inshallah, I certainly hope so.
Take
inshallah,
care,
inshallah.
man.
All
Take care
right.
of
Ma'assalam.
Thank you
yourself.
so much.
Assalamu
Thank
alaikum.
you. Thank you, Hajid.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That was a
Wallah.
blessed moment with Hajid.
One of the best shows I think we had. It's good to see the perspective of the young people and to hear them out and to give them space to express themselves. And I think
Yeah.
we did that today, and we're very grateful to have this opportunity.
Before we sign out, I really want to give advice to the 12th graders who's joining and who have graduated. So, hearing, I hope you take this seriously. You don't limit yourself to school subjects only. There is a lot in this life to learn. You can learn art, you can learn animation, you can learn different skills that would, bring you success in your life. So do not limit yourself. Do not limit even the education or learning to only getting jobs. That's not the reason why you go to school. It's more than that. Do not limit yourself to only reading books. Learn from different sources. Like you have television, you have internet, podcasts, parents, grandparents, friends. I mean, good friends. And one more thing, this is really
Books.
important. Books, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, apart from the books, if you think that you have struggled enough in the last 12 years and that this is going to be the end of my struggle, I have bad news for you. You haven't seen anything yet. This is just the beginning. You will go to college. That's a big struggle. Then you get a job, get married, have kids. That's where the real struggle starts, man. I'm not
Ali,
saying this,
stop scaring them, man.
No,
Stop scaring them.
well,
You're spoiling the
brother,
surprise, man. Let them find out themselves.
no, I have to put them in reality. You see, I'm not saying this to demotivate you guys, but what I'm trying to say is that whenever you get into struggle in your life, you and only you have the choice to get out of it. It requires some effort, a strong will, and always trust in Allah. And that you need to also understand that nobody can ever harm you, no matter how hard they try. How was it?
You should be the next president, man. You're very good at this.
Thank you, man. But I think that was something that people have to hear. The reason to be in school is not only to study and get a job. There's a lot. And don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. And don't get scared.
Yeah.
Life is all about experiences. You live once, experience it, and experience it.
Anyways, my friend, I think we're running out of time. So thank you for everybody who has joined today's show. From me, Hatim Al-Absalam and Ali Al-Fara'i. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get the latest notification from Ummati Station. Salam.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.